Now this color is the same one that is going to be returned when this method is called. So let's explore this a little bit. So here I'm just importing these functions. We already did those, but let me just import those. Let's try to understand Annotator now a little bit more. So Annotator is here. And in the same way as colors was here, we also have Annotator. In particular, we could go there like this. And you can see it's right under colors. And out of this initialization function, I'm just going to get the values that are actually needed in our case. So I've defined those here. And then I'm showing the image with cv2 imshow. And you can see that for our inputs, there are some values that get initialized for us if we don't define them. Basically, these are our arguments. And of course, we're just displaying the 768 by 1024 by 3 image. There's a few operations that are performed here. In this case, the bounding box width is equals to 3. If this was set to none, then we will get the maximum of the shape. You can see im0.shape are these values. Then we would do the sum of that to obtain 1795, which when divided by 2 and multiplied by 0.003 will give us this number. And we will run that to 3 and get the maximum out of that. So in our case, the line width is going to be 3. But if we didn't have anything, we will get 3 as well for this second operation. And then here, if I call that flags from im0, we actually get these flags. And this doesn't apply to us, so we're stepping over that. And then here, self.im, we have those flags. In our case, writable is set to true. So basically nothing changes. Otherwise, we'll make a copy. And then here, we're just calculating the thickness of the font and the scale for that font. So we perform that math, which is what gets performed right here. And now we're almost there, where to our annotator, that box label, now that we're done initializing it, this doesn't apply to us. Notice that here, annotator has this method, box label, which is also the method that we're calling here, which basically overlaps the box and the label to the image and takes 3 arguments: the box coordinates, the label, car .a6, and the color that we just calculated. So basically, these are going to be the inputs to that function. You can see the box, the label, and the color in BGR format. Notice that I'm calling it directly from that function. Now let me show you something. If we were to run this, meaning that we're installing the Ultralytics package, well, we'll be installing this version, 8.2.98. However, in VS Code, we have a different version, in particular, 8.2.35. So why is this important? Well, if we install this version, when we run the colors function, we're actually going to obtain a different color, different value. So let me actually show you. If we go to Ultralytics, and then utils, and then plotting, you can see colors here. And index 2 is actually going to return a different color. And this is almost like a white. As you can see here, almost like a very light gray. So in order to obtain the same results in our Colab and VS Code, we're going to install the same version that we have by calling the equal. And you can see that all the releases are here. Ours is way at the bottom. So let's go ahead and run this. And then this one is basically, I'm hiding all the pip installs. So it's a little cleaner. So let's run this. And just to verify, we're printing the version and the color, which is the same one that we obtained above. Now we're getting very close to the end. So what I'm going to do is the inputs that we calculated above, right here, there's a section later to understand what this is doing, but I'm going to leave the annotator box label as an optional video. So what I'm doing here is just importing the class directly and then providing the arguments that we already defined above. And then we'll do this box.label in one line. And then if you're interested in, we can unpack it a little more in the next video. So for now, we're just going to provide these inputs that we just calculated. and then run this function to convert it to an NumPy array, and then the cv2.imWrite method. But what I'm going to do first is, if we had installed the latest version, we would have obtained this color. So I'm going to put this here, and then I'm going to show you the result that we would obtain. And then we'll put the color function to obtain the true color that we want for the 8.2.35 version. So this color, this light gray, if we run this, and then let's save it in files, you can see it right now, we don't have it. When we run this, now we've saved this Explorer 0 image. But what I'm going to do here is come back to this function. So instead of hard coding the values that we obtain with this version, we just calculate the values from our current version. We obtain this, and then let's call it just Explorer. And now we've saved both, and we can go and take a look. You can see we have both of them here. The first one, with the latest Ultralytics package, you would obtain this bounding box. However, with the version that we have, this is what we obtain. And I think this is pretty much it for this video series. So I want to say congratulations for making it all the way to this point. Now, if you're interested in knowing how the detection bounding box, as well as the bounding box for the label and the label itself got overlapped on the image, feel free to check this last section, which is optional. Otherwise, congratulations on finishing this video series,